How's it going everyone? In this Cataclismo tips video, I'm going to explain how everything works and the best tips regarding building, units and defense. If you want to know what the game is like, the best example I can give is the movie The Great Wall. If you ever watched it, imagine you're the commander in charge of creating and defending the wall. But anyway, let's start with city buildings and resources. Keep in mind, structures are unlocked in different ways depending on what mode you're playing. In the campaign, you advance prosperity levels. In the endless mode, you unlock things using points. And remember to pause the game whenever you're planning or building. But that aside, the most important building you have is the Citadel. If this gets destroyed, you lose. In the campaign, it offers some vital upgrades like increasing your military limit. You can build on top of the Citadel. I personally like placing air filters as the Citadel already has stairs built inside. So it's a good spot to quickly place an air filter. The Citadel has a zone around it where you can build. To extend this zone, you need to place beacons. These beacons also act as an extension for other beacons, allowing you to reach faraway resources and objectives. Regarding resources, there are four main ones: oxygen, wood, stone and minerals. The sawmill gathers wood and the quarry gathers both stone and minerals. Oxygen is gathered through air filters. These have to be placed high up from the ground level. Sadly, you aren't able to stack them no matter how high you go, which is annoying as space is limited. Then there is one special resource used for advanced units, mist fuel. This is gathered from areas that have mist using a mist condenser. Some of these resource gathering structures can be upgraded to the master variants once unlocked for faster gathering. To increase your storage space, you can build a warehouse. They also act as a deposit for resource gatherers, so they don't need to travel all the way to the Citadel, so it's a good idea to build them close to your furthest wood or stone gatherer. Making sure your gatherers are efficient as possible is more important than you think. You only have a certain amount of time before waves, so you need to be gathering as much and as fast as you can. To increase oxygen storage, you need to build air silos, which I will do as soon as you unlock them because you can never have enough oxygen. And you can actually use the air trader building to exchange oxygen for other resources if you ever need to. For the military structures, currently there are only 4 buildings. The barracks trains your basic units: bowmen, lobbers and captors. These guys will make up the majority of your defense. The bomber's workshop trains cannoneers and ballistae. The elite quarters trains hunters and partisans. And finally, the masonry guild, which is used for researching various upgrades. To increase your population, you need to build houses. The first housing structure is the shack, which holds 4 people. You can also add home extensions to these shacks to add an extra room. The best housing is the homestead, which holds 8 people. You can build on top of these houses and stack them. Very useful when space is limited. I'll mention building tips later on in this video. Finally, there's some extra structures that reduce resource usage, like reducing the oxygen usage of homes. I would make use of these only if you have extra resources to spare, or if you have no space left to build but need to reduce usage. I've never had to actually use these in the campaign, but they are more useful in the endless modes. Now moving on to units. At the start, you'll only have access to the basic units: bowmen, lobbers and captors. Bowmen deal high damage to single targets and should be placed at 5 meters or above. Lobbers are your area damage unit and should be placed at 0 to 4 meters. And captors deal low damage, but their main purpose is to slow down enemies by throwing nets, which is important, so don't overlook this unit. Their height is also in the 0 to 4 meter range. The majority of your defense will be made up of bowmen and lobbers. In the endless modes, you start with a few bowmen. One of your first few unlocks should be the lobber. Having a mix of single and area damage units is essential. Captors you don't need that many of, but it helps having them near the front, slowing down enemies. The next level up from the bowman is the hunter, who has higher damage and much more range. Hunters fire a little slower, but they are much better than the bowman. Hunters require a height of at least 10 meters. Then the upgrade for the lobbers is the cannoneer. They have the same height range of 0 to 4 meters, but with higher damage. What really sets them apart is that the lobber can only hit 2 targets at once. The cannoneer hits all targets in the damage zone. This is a very big advantage. If I could, I would replace all lobbers with cannoneers. However, they are limited by mist fuel. Mist fuel isn't gathered infinitely like the other resources. Once you place a mist condenser, it only harvests a certain amount, for example 10. Then a single cannoneer uses 2 mist fuel, so I can create 5 for that single condenser. The issue is that there aren't many mist locations on the map, and the other advanced units also use mist fuel, so you have to make the choice of what unit to invest that mist fuel in. Now onto the strongest units in the game. The Partisan has the highest damage against single targets. They can also be used at any height. If they're high up, they fire single shots like hunters. If low, they fire a burst of arrows. The best area damage unit is the Ballistæ, who are very powerful when used correctly. They require a height like the bowman of 5 meters or higher, but they fire in a single line. To use them efficiently, try to place blocks in the path of horrors in order to line them up and group them together. You should always place units at their preferred heights to maximize their stats, but in emergency cases you might not have enough time or resources to build. In that case, it's fine to place them anywhere. Now let's talk about building. Starting with the basics, you have wood and stone to build with. Both are important. Wood is used in creating buildings and units, supporting stone structures, and useful for building high or for building things like stairs where you don't want to waste precious stone. The only problem with the wood is that it can't support the weight of stone blocks or certain heavy structures. And you also don't have any wooden archways, so you can't walk underneath wood. Stone, however, can support anything and is a lot more versatile. However, its range is a little limited, but using both stone and wood together will give you the best results. Stone is used a lot more than wood, so I would prioritize it when gathering. You can unlock more advanced building blocks as you progress. These are vital to improving your defenses and city structures. Using them smartly can save you stone and space, which gets very limited as your base grows. Speaking of space, when you're creating houses, don't build them in a line. Instead, build them together with the flat roof part in the middle. Then you can place another house on top. And then top of that house, place an air filter. Now add some stairs to link everything. This is an efficient way of not only adding houses, but air filters as well. You have to create stairs because every usable structure has to have a path to the citadel. If you block off parts with the walls, make sure you add doors for your people and the path system. There are some defensive blocks that you should always be using. First is the Merlon, which provides a range boost. This range boost is quite significant. Every single one of your units should be placed at a Merlon. The advanced version is the window. Windows are definitely the better option. They also offer a range boost, but you can build on top of them, which is a huge advantage as you can layer your defenses. The other must-have defensive block is the banner. These provide a damage boost, and again, you should aim to have every single unit covered by some kind of banner. You can also get a grand banner, which provides a stronger buff, and you can also get wall-mounted banners, which are more compact. The last must-have defensive block is the buff blocks. The lobbers get poison, all of the people that use arrows get fire arrows. The artillery get the bomb spark, which makes any enemy killed explode and damage nearby enemies. These buffs are essential for lasting longer. Now there's hundreds of ways of using these blocks and creating your defenses. I'm just going to give you some basic ideas. You can customize them to your own liking as you get more experienced. You should have a main wall of at least 3 stone layers. This should be 4 blocks high, so it's in the range of your lobbers and captors. Then to make room for bowmen, just increase an area by 1 layer wherever you need to. 5 blocks high means you reach 5 meters. Have Merlons at the front, then a banner behind the unit. You've got your basic wall. Since you're 4 blocks high off the ground, you can build some walls out in front of you without blocking the line of sight. Then after the walls, you can use any extra resources to either place traps or raise some stone walls here and there to divide the enemy. Some enemies go straight past these extra walls, but some will attack them for a while, buying your units precious time to finish off the attackers. As you advance and unlock the hunters, then you'll need to create a 10-meter high wall. This can be a simple tower, or you can stack using windows, mounted banners and arches like I have. I'll go through advanced building tips in a future video, but you can just copy the wall I have here. This wall has enough room to place buffs as well. You'll just need to add some stairs on the edges. This is only useful if you've unlocked the required stone and wooden parts. Remember, the higher you build, the stronger the wall. If you fail a wave, try to experiment with what works better, building higher or maybe building more layers in the front. But that's everything for now. If you found it helpful, hit the like button before you go, and I'll see you in the next video.